It usually starts the same way. The room is dark. The clock glows with a number you wish you hadn't noticed. 3 a.m. You're not anxious about anything specific. You're not panicking. You're just awake. And suddenly the thought arrives, uninvited but undeniable. I never asked to exist. That thought doesn't feel dramatic. It feels factual. And once it appears, it doesn't leave. There was a man who lived almost his entire life inside that thought. Not as a phase, not as a breakdown, but as a permanent condition. His name was Emil Cioran. He didn't treat consciousness as a miracle. He treated it as a diagnosis. Most philosophers ask how to live. Cioran asked why we were forced to. He believed the real tragedy of human life isn't suffering itself, but the awareness of it. The fact that we know we're here, that we know time is passing, that we know it ends. Animals suffer, yes, but they don't replay their suffering at night. They don't think about death while eating. They don't feel the weight of years pressing forward. They exist without commentary. Humans don't get that luxury. We are conscious of being conscious, a loop with no off switch. Cioran's life changed the moment sleep abandoned him. Not temporarily, not occasionally, for years. Night after night, he lay awake while the rest of the world disappeared into unconsciousness. No escape, no pause, no mercy. That's when he realized something unsettling. Sleep isn't rest. Sleep is mercy. Sleep is the universe allowing you to stop being yourself for a few hours, to stop remembering, to stop anticipating, to stop existing as a thinking being. When that mercy is taken away, you experience existence in its rawest form, continuous, relentless, indifferent. Insomnia doesn't create dark thoughts. It removes the illusions that normally protect you from them. At 3 a.m., meaning collapses. Purpose dissolves. The stories you tell yourself during the day stop working. There's no future at 3 a.m., no redemption arc, no comforting narrative, just awareness. Cioran believed this was the most honest state a human could experience. Not because it feels good, but because it strips away lies. That's why he distrusted optimism. Why he rejected systems that promised answers. Why he refused philosophies that tried to make existence reasonable. Life doesn't make sense, he said, and the more you try to make it make sense, the more you suffer. So he stopped writing arguments. He wrote fragments, short sentences, sharp observations, each one complete on its own, because explanations imply resolution, and there is no resolution. He lived simply, almost invisibly. No ambition to build a legacy, no desire to fix the world, no illusion that understanding would save him. People who met him were surprised. He wasn't bitter. He wasn't hysterical. He could even be funny. That's the strange thing about those who accept the worst. Once you stop expecting life to be fair, it can no longer disappoint you. Cioran didn't believe birth was a blessing. He believed it was an imposition. You didn't choose to be here. You didn't consent to consciousness. You were introduced into awareness without permission. And now you're expected to be grateful. But gratitude only makes sense when refusal is possible. Life isn't a gift. It's an assignment you never signed up for. From the moment you're born, the countdown begins, not just toward death, but toward knowing you're going to die. Every birthday isn't a celebration. It's a reminder. Animals age. Humans count. That counting is the burden. We distract ourselves endlessly to escape it. Work, relationships, ambition, entertainment, belief systems. Cioran called them anesthetics. They don't heal the wound. They numb it temporarily. And when the noise stops, when the lights go out, when the phone is silent, the awareness returns. That's why the night is dangerous. That's why insomnia feels like exile. You exist while the world sleeps. You think while others forget themselves. You feel time stretching without interruption. Day bleeds into night. Night bleeds back into day. No chapters. No pauses. Just being. Cioran believed intelligence worsens this condition. The more you understand, the less you can escape. Ignorance isn't weakness. It's protection. To think deeply is to suffer deeply, because you see too much. You see how temporary everything is, how fragile meaning is, how small human drama looks against time. And yet, despite all this clarity, despite all this awareness, we continue. Why? Not because life is meaningful, but because existence has momentum. The body keeps going, the heart keeps beating, the nervous system refuses to shut down. Cioran called this the temptation to exist. Even when you know better, you're pulled forward. A meal, a conversation, a moment of warmth, tiny hooks that keep you here. not because they justify existence, but because they distract you from questioning it again. This is the cruel part. If life were purely unbearable, ending it would be easy, but it's not. It's just tolerable enough to continue, just engaging enough to delay, just distracting enough to endure. So we endure ourselves from morning to night. That, Cioran said, is what most people call living. He didn't offer solutions. He didn't offer hope. He offered recognition. He said, if you lie awake at 3 a.m., feeling the weight of being conscious, you're not broken, you're not weak, you're not insane, you're simply awake. And being awake hurts. He didn't try to cure that pain. He documented it, line by line, fragment by fragment, not to save anyone, not to inspire, but to say, this is what it feels like. And sometimes that's enough, because knowing someone else has stood in the same darkness makes the darkness less isolating. Cioran didn't escape existence. No one does. He just stopped lying about it. And in that brutal honesty, there's a strange kind of peace, not happiness, not meaning, but clarity. The kind you feel when the clock reads 3 a.m. and the world is quiet enough for the truth to speak. And now you've heard it.